Technology, man, it's
it's
all
all
around
around us,
us, and
and
I'm
I'm
trying to
trying to
get
get
my
my
handle
handle
on it,
on it,
and I
and I
think I
think I
got it
got it
going
going
tonight.
tonight.
Can you
Can
hear
you
me,
hear me,
Ron?
Ron?
What do you think, Bob?
I
I
think
think
that's
that's
fantastic.
fantastic.
That is
That is
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
That is
That is
Well,
absolutely
absolutely
gorgeous.
gorgeous.
well, we
And
talked about the tweets leading up. It was like how many buckets of chicken does it take on the couch to get through March Madness? Your favorite buffalo wings. At a restaurant or home. We didn't give a nod to the dog.
so I'm hearing there's a little echo going on. I'm going to try to work on this right now because I want to be able to edit this. Uh, I think it's the hot dog interfering. Yeah. Ron, this is how we're going to work this, all right? Because they can't hear you until I toggle off my speaker. But when my speaker is on in this XSplit broadcaster, that's when we get the echo. All right, so I'm gonna man this. I'm gonna take care of this. All right, because this is a conversation we need to have. So when I'm talking, it's speaker off. When you're talking, it's speaker on. And who knows if this is gonna work? Hold on one second though. Let me bring up the first bracket. Oh, look at that. And you know what? You don't have to do anything but sit there and nod because this is the Bend, Oregon regional. All right? You could just nod in approval. Um, and so we got four places to possibly watch the game in Bend, Oregon. All right, if you're traveling, and so one of my favorites is Sidelines. It's a small, locally owned sports bar, right? Fantastic joint. All right, they're going up against Deschutes Brew Pub. Deschutes now, I think it's like the fifth or sixth largest brewer in the country. So, that's it's going to be a stiff challenge. But the Sidelines has got some things going on that I'm not sure Deschutes is going to be able to handle, just like a good pressing defense, right? And then on the other side, we got the Poorhouse. All right, I know in Chicago there's a Poorhouse against Riverbend Brewing Company. Now I threw the two brew pubs in because lots of people come to Central Oregon because we got like 21 breweries, and so they're like, love to go to the brewery, taste the beers and whatnot. But very, very few of these brew pubs have adequate television space. So of the places, those are the two that you're going to actually be able to watch a game. 10 Barrel Brewing, there's like 6 seats at the bar. Forget about it. You're never watching the game there. And a lot of them are like that, a lot of the brew pubs. All right, so we've covered this the Bend, Oregon bracket, as we will say. So I'm going to bring up our second bracket. Hold on. Give me your pick.
My pick is Poorhouse.
All right.
Reasons. One, I like the name, and two, the way I've been picking lately, that's where I'd end up.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Somebody said Vegas, and we're going to get to Vegas, but they didn't build a city in the desert because a bunch of people know how to gamble.
Yeah, those hotels are all built on people who win.
All right, so here we go. Our second bracket. We're going to call this the Fast Casual Regional. All right, and before you go ahead, let me just set it up for you, and then I got a question to throw at you to see if we can't actually do some science around this bracket. All right, so out of the gates we got Applebee's versus Chili's, and then we got TGI Fridays in the other regional game against Hooters. Now, I like bringing this in because I know that there's some science that we could probably bring to this. I know your friend at Dining Grades, Dr. Steuben, probably has some actual data, and we could actually push this bracket through just on Dining Grades information on health department scores. Tell us a little bit about how about that might work, if it can work.
Hey, I took a look, and Applebee's is going to give you the higher score every single time for cleanliness, and that's always a nice concern because even if your team loses, you don't want to feel bad in the morning over something different. So Applebee's in that bracket is moving really well. The Hooters, on the other hand, they've been after their franchisees for not having that cleanliness standard that they're known for. So I think you've got Applebee's is a clear winner, but I wouldn't count Hooters out. I mean, plus Dickie V recommends them, so that's the voice of March Madness. So yeah, I think we can see a tight game there.
All right, so how about this? How about going forward, and maybe for next week we can track a little bit uh, from your aspect, from Clean Drop Mobile, and we see who's playing better defense against foodborne illness in these games. Because let's face it, defense wins championships.
That's right, unless you're in the NBA.
Let's move on to our next bracket. By the way, my technology, some of it's working as I have a beautiful bracketology behind me that shows the. All right, so in our destination regional, all right, you want to go someplace to watch the games. All right, I got Las Vegas versus Miami. All right, and then we got Vail versus Phoenix. Just anything that you think of off the top of your head right away about this bracket, because I'm going to expound upon it after I get your input.
Vegas, there's just too much to do. There's other things. Miami, it's too warm. Who wants to sit inside? So you got to be outside at a tiki bar. Vail, it's powder. You want to be skiing. I mean, basketball starts at noon and even earlier. As the time zones switch across. So I'm happy to be sitting in Chicago this weekend because it's going to be cold. You got nothing else to do but sit in front of the TV and watch some basketball. So, I think with that snowstorm coming through, you're going to see a lot of college NCAA basketball attendance up.
Yeah. Well, nothing worse than seeing a regional, by the way, where there's 7 people in the stands. I mean, the NCAA's, I think they've gotten better on making sure they're putting these games in a place where people are going to go to the games. So my take on the destination, though, Las Vegas. There's so much energy there, but there is, especially for a final, there's nothing like watching a finals game with a bunch of other degenerate gamblers that don't have the money to lose that they have on the game in one of those big sports books. I was talking to somebody today about watching Joe Carter hit that home run for the Toronto Blue Jays to win the World Series, and man, just the energy in those sports books are just fantastic. So you can't go wrong there. Now, Vail, on the other hand, I was involved in a altercation, not an altercation. It was a situation in Vail where one of my friends decided that skiing was too difficult, and so he spent the entire Thursday afternoon at the top of the mountain watching the games. And then when it was time for him to leave, they told him he couldn't how about this? They told him he couldn't ride the chairlift down. Now he couldn't ski to begin with, and then 3 full games of cocktailing. They put him on skis. Needless to say, he had to be rescued from the side of a mountain. So that's the other thing about that, you get the good exercise yourself in. So then, I don't know, you feel a little bit better about watching these kids and telling them what slouches they are if they're not performing. And the last one, Phoenix, something about being in a host city because it's infectious everywhere you go in that host city. So tell us a little bit about that and what your thoughts on that are.
Oh, love Phoenix. I mean, we've done some Super Bowls with the city of Phoenix. They've got that waste management golf outing there a couple of weeks ago. We worked on that. They take pride in their food safety. They like cleanliness out there. You got a great population. It is an energy town. I mean, as far as when something rolls in like that, just great people. Yeah.
Now I'm hearing first final like west of the Mississippi in a bunch of years, so they got to be excited to have the Final Four in Phoenix this year.
I mean, Phoenix is on a winning streak. I mean, they had, what was it? I think 250,000 or something like that came to the waste management golf outing a couple weeks ago outside there, and just on the suburbs there. I mean, God, they just got it going on for some awesome reason. And while you're there, you can play Camelback quick a minute.
Exactly. Or hack Camelback up. All right, and now let's move to our last regional. Hold on. And this is, I got to move out of the way to show the region, all right, fully. So I was so stumped on Chicago bars that I decided, you know what, I'm going to go Chicago areas. So I got Division Street / Rush Street versus the Milwaukee Avenue corridor, where all the hipsters hang out. All right, and we got the other regional game is Wrigleyville versus Old Town, like Wells Street. Give me your thoughts right off the bat on these ones.
I would I'm literally thinking, Old Town for Thursday and Friday, then switching over to Wrigleyville for the Saturday Sunday moments, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. It's winter there.
Hold on. I love it. That's one thing about Chicago. There's no doubt. I mean, Division Street. One thing I will say about Division and Rush is you better bring your pocketbook. Because it's going to cost you a couple hundred to get tipsy there for sure. Um, my thoughts on Wells Street. I mean, there's just it's really. I mean, Old Town used to be kind of a scary joint. Not no more, man. It was great, and then it got scary, and now it's great again. I mean, I really like the Old Town Poorhouse and Benchmark on Wells there. Fantastic joints. Um, what else you like in Old Town?
Well, you're going to get some fans in Old Town. I mean, more of your diehard University of Chicago. You're going to get some of your University of Illinois, and I think you're going to get a lot of Northwestern people. If you want my opinion for that, right down there.
That's funny you should say the Northwestern thing. It's how about Northwestern and how about how many professional media people went to Northwestern? It's like they produced all the professional media people, and so they finally get to cheer on their sports team.
Finally, I mean, it's awesome. It's just a great energy, and I think if you wear your Northwestern attire in Wrigleyville on Saturday, Sunday, it'll be awesome.
And in Wrigleyville, you got obviously you got tons of choices there. I was just going after looking at some of the places that I've frequented. I got to tell you, I do like sluggers for the simple fact that if your team loses, you can go upstairs and take it out on a fast pitch, or more likely a slow pitch that you can actually hit the ball. Um, and I got to tell you, I've never been to the Irish Oak, but it looked awesome. Have you been there?
Yeah, I don't think there's one in Wrigleyville I haven't missed. Got St. Patrick's Day too, so I mean, it's just going to be a great weekend.
Ron, I'm taking a beer break. Hold on.
The drinking game word St. Patrick's Day, and I finally got to it. Say the magic word.
Exactly. Now, I can't imagine what that Friday night is going to be like in Chicago with St. Patrick's Day and all these games on. It's going to be shitty out, cold, perfect drinking weather.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great weekend to be in Chicago. You know, um, how can it be bad? Other than unless you're in Georgia and you go to Savannah for their St. Patrick's Day parade. Now there's an event.
Is that
Oh,
one good?
first time I went, I woke up on one of the chain islands in just a pair of tux pants. That was it. I sure I had fun.
All right, listen. I just want to go on record. All right, I want to go on record here and talk some real NCAA. All right, my final four. I got Philtonova uh, and Arizona on the one side, and I got Louisville and Butler on the other. That's my bracket buster is Butler. They got some great wins. They're so hot and cold this year, but they always show up in the tournament. So that's my final four: Philtonova, Arizona, Louisville, and Butler. Who do you got?
I'm picking Gonzaga. I'm not going to bother with anybody else. I think it's the year Gonzaga finally gets that recognition that they've been wanting and have earned for so long. I'm so tired of hearing all these guys, going, well, their strength of schedule, their win loss, whatever it is. They have put together a consistent program out there that is just really, really impressive. And I think they've had those little baby steps into the tournament, and they've kind of believed the own print. And I think this is the year. It's just going to be a Gonzaga year. Nobody else is going to matter. I mean, Duke won the ACC. Michigan had their trip with meeting and everything, but I don't think Kansas can do it. Villanova, yeah, they got some horses, but I think it's Gonzaga. I mean, they lost what, once this year?
All right, you know what? I will say sold, as I would in a commodity pit. Sold. Sold on Gonzaga, sold on Duke, sold on Michigan. I think those programs peaked, and Duke, it'll be interesting to see if Coach K can get these Duke guys to perform like they have over the past couple of weeks. That'll be amazing to see. But I'm looking forward to it, and thank you so much. And how about we track these fast casuals for next week, and we're going to move them forward next week on science. All right, how's that sound?
And maybe we can get some regionals. I'll do some research on some regional restaurants, chains where those host cities are. So you find that Portillo's wherever you're at, kind of thing. So you can really experience it. Maybe throw in a few food trucks or something just to keep it fun.
All right, listen, you can't say Portillo's again because I start freaking out because there's not a good Italian beef sandwich in Central Oregon. All right, Ron, thank you so much for stopping by. Always fantastic to chat with you. We will check in with you next week, and have a great week.
Hey, everybody keep sending us those, keep sending Bob those recipes and your thoughts, and let's have a week of a little interaction with everybody as to how this is working out and what you're eating.
Anybody out and has opinions on food safety, and or just whether it was a great meal or not, reach out to Clean Drop Mobile and continue the conversation. Thank you, Ron.
Take care, Bob. See you soon.
All right, man. Really working the technology tonight. Again, everything worked fine. No echoes. I mean, I even recorded it. Anyway, check out the bracketology for places to watch. If you got ideas, please share them with Mangia TV, where you're going to watch the games. You know what didn't make this is a whole bracket on the best places and best things to watch at home. I know Weekend Grilling was so excited for March Madness because he gets to fire up the smoker and the grill and just start demolishing recipe after recipe, and have all his friends and family enjoy his hard labors over the grill. And that's what it's really all about, man. That's the best part of it. Hold on now. Let's come back to here and see where I am. All right, listen, Robert Heffernan, Mangia.tv, do yourself a favor and cook somebody a meal, would you? And we're going to go to Frank. We're going to go to Frank here.
I need rub, Frank! Go get it! Not fish, Mojo! I need shrimp, Mojo! Go get it! Shit. I forgot to teach him how to read.
All right, that's what I got. Please visit Amazon.com and buy some rub, and by all means, give us a rating, like a 5-star rating, please. Do yourself a favor, cook someone a meal. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next week on Cooking Vamp 99, closing in on 100. I'm gonna have to do something special for the 100th. You guys have a great week. Roll credits.
Come into my kitchen, babe. I'm gonna fix you something to eat. I'm gonna mix it up with passion. Gonna throw a pinch of something sweet.